I think it's finally time for a bookshelf tour. We're gonna go through my physical TBR, my read books, my series, my favorite special editions, and hopefully you can give me some ideas to rearrange it, because it's a little chaotic. So let's go. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going through an entire bookshelf tour. I've never done a video like this and I've been wanting to ever since I did my physical TBR video almost a year ago, I think. There have been a lot of updates since that video. I think at that point I had about 50 books on my physical TBR and now I have this entire section. So first I'm going to give you kind of a general overview of the bookshelf and then we will dive into all of the books that I have on it. Okay, first up, like I said, this entire section here is all physical TBR for the most part. I do try to keep series together. So some of the series on here, like the Chloe Walsh Finding 13 series, Boys of Tommen, I have read the first two, but I still have them on this side. These bookshelves are from Target. I'll link them below. It's kind of hard to find them online. I feel like they're sold out a lot, but whenever I go in store, they always have some. And they're really affordable. They're not as tall as the IKEA Billy bookshelves, but they're like 40 bucks each. So I think they're a pretty good option if you're just starting out your library. And then this half is all of my books that I have read. I love to keep them as little trophies, so that's fun. As you can see, it's a bit chaotic. So let's go through it. Okay, let's start by going through the top shelf of Knickknacks. First up, you guys are gonna think I'm such a freak for this. I have a little like container with Jorah's whiskers. Whenever he drops whiskers, we collect them and we put them in this little bowl. Look at this. I have so many of them. I'm such a freak. It's like collecting your kids' teeth. But I'm a cat mom at heart. I can't help myself. I also have this absolutely stunning, gorgeous perfection Eras Tour outfits print. I will tag the artist who did this below. This is one of my favorite like art prints in my entire house. I still have it in the plastic packaging because I don't want it to get damaged, but it's very pretty. This was pre-TTPD, but I still love it. I have my Harris Waltz hat. Period, as I should, thank you very much. A cute little acorn jelly cat. I don't even know how this got up here. It's not intended to be there. It's like a Hello Kitty little cookie jar thing. This is another really beautiful print that I got at the Ripped Bodice in Brooklyn. It's a Feyre Archeron print, obviously from A Court of Thorns and Roses. This is from Carrington Moore Studio. I'll tag this below as well. She does a lot of the different fantasy girlies. Look at how pretty that is. I'll show you some of the detail as well. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Okay, so the way I have this categorized obviously is by color, but also kind of by genre. So this is like all the romance books here, more romance. Down here I have like literary fiction. And then this section is like fantasy and thrillers. Okay, let's go through every single book. First up, I found this at the thrift store. It's the Holiday Swap. It's a book of the month edition. I have never heard anything about this book, but I love a Christmas book. I used to have my shelves organized with holiday separately, which I kind of want to do again. This is an arc that I got of Women of Good Fortune by Sophie Wan. This actually sounds really, really interesting. It sort of sounds similar to Crazy Rich Asians. I don't remember exactly what it's about, but it's like surrounding a wedding. I love the cover as well. Another Christmas book. This is The Christmas Fix by Lucy Score. I have never read a Lucy Score book, which I know is like really insane, but I met her at an event and I really loved her, so I need to read that. How to End a Love Story by Yulin Kwong. I feel like I heard so much about this book about a year ago and then it like dropped off the face of the planet. If you've read this, please let me know. It sounded really, really good. It's part of the Reese's book club as well, so it like must be good. Another art copy of a book called Honey. I really like the cover of this. I don't know anything about it. It sounds kind of like Britney Spears vibes. It's like millennial, late 90s, early 2000s fame. So, okay, Heartstopper is on my TBR for this month. It's a graphic novel. It's like an LGBTQ book about a rugby player and like a little nerd. I think they're British. It's really, really gorgeous and cute. How fun is that? I've never read a graphic novel, but I just have heard amazing things about it. Mariana, my co-host for the Last Page podcast, also said the show is really, really good. So I think I'm gonna read this and then watch the show. This is Sweet Addiction by Jay Daniels. It is a small indie author. She sent me this book and I think this has to do with a wedding night as well, like a hookup at a wedding. So that sounds fun. A Merry Little Meet Cute. This is another holiday book that sounds really fun. It's about a plus size film actress who ends up having to work on like a kind of like a Hallmark Christmas film. And so I think she has to hide the fact that she's like an adult film artist. So that sounds really funny. Happily Never After by Lynn Painter. This is basically about a girl who wants to call off her wedding. So she hires a wedding objector, like a professional wedding objector, to come and say, I object to the wedding, and then she joins in on it. And then I have 2 books from Morgan Elizabeth, If This Was a Movie and Passenger Princess. She is seriously the sweetest indie author. She's a big Swiftie. I love all of her content. She always sends me art copies of her books, so definitely want to read. I know this one I think is about a ballerina, which is totally up my alley. A Not So Meet Cute by Megan Quinn. I have only read her Christmas book. It was very spicy. I think all of her books are really spicy. This one is a like fake dating situation, I believe. Don't quote me on that. This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan. This is actually a sequel to a book, so I'm not really sure what it's about, but I know I need to get the first one. I got this from Amazon Books in like a gift package that I did with them, so I need to get the first one, obviously. Something Wilder by Christina Lauren. I love Christina Lauren's writing. It's actually a little like bestie duo. It's not someone named Christina Lauren, it's Christina and Lauren, which is funny. This one I have not read yet, Something Wilder. It's about like a Grand Canyon tour guide looking for buried treasure romance situation. My friend who recommended it to me said, if you like escape rooms, you'll like this book, and I love escape rooms. So kind of curious to see what this is about. I love Christina Lauren, so I think I'm gonna like it. I have 2 books in the Austin Heat series. This is another indie author. This one is about a football player. I believe both are football players. And it's like a spicy Austin-based, NFL quarterback, NFL superstar, which I don't think I've really read a lot of football books besides Say You Swear, which we'll get to on the other shelf. I have 2 Elsie Silver books. I have only read the first 2 books in the Chestnut Spring series from her. So these 2, I'm just like sort of starting to randomly collect the books in these series because I eventually want to get to them. They're cowboy romances. But she has 3 different series, and I don't know why I randomly have these 2. So Good Girl Complex by Elle Kennedy. She writes The Deal and like that whole Briar U series, and then some spin-off series of that, which I did read The Deal and really liked it. This one is more like a summer romance. I've heard mixed reviews about it, but it does sound really cute. I think it's like a small town summer romance situation. Speaking of football books, this is The Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams. It's a dancer football player romance. I really haven't heard anyone read this, so if you've read this, please let me know what you thought. Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. This is a very, very popular series that I still have not read. It's just very long and intimidating. I know it's like a small town romance. Again, Mariana has been trying desperately to get me to read this, so I need somebody to convince me. Like, please seriously tell me this changed your life. I'm nervous. I've had this on my physical TBR probably for 3 years. Last on this row is Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. Again, this is a small town, lakeside summer romance. I have this so high up on my TBR that it's gonna be next after what I'm reading currently. So this is a must read. I've been dying to read some Carly Fortune. People rave about her books. Okay, next shelf down. First up, we have Story of My Life by Lucy Score. I have it facing outwards because look at how cute the sprayed edges are. I love a sprayed edge. And they are taking over right now. Everybody's doing sprayed edges. This is about an author who is remodeling a house, and she's writing a story of a girl who's remodeling a house. So she like hooks up with the hot contractor because she's trying to do research for her book. It sounds really cute. Mariana really loved this one. By the way, I keep talking about Mariana. You guys need to go listen to her podcast. If you like books and you're watching this video and you've made it this many minutes into my video, the Last Page podcast, check us out. We're really funny and fun. I will have us linked below. The Pairing by Casey McQuestion, another sprayed edge. This is the same author who wrote Red, White, and Royal Blue, which is one of my favorite books. I love that book. This one is about 2 guys who broke up, but then both still had tickets to this like food and wine tour in Europe, and then both accidentally go on it at the same time, so they kind of like reignite their love story, I think. It sounds really cute. Snowed In for Christmas. I don't know anything about this. I remember thinking I wasn't gonna love it, but I love a Christmas book, so we'll give it a shot. The Dinner List by Rebecca Searle. I read Expiration Dates by her and really did not like it, so I'm a little bit nervous about this, but it sounds really cool. I think it's kind of based on the concept of like, if you could invite anyone to your dinner table, alive or dead, who would you pick? So it sounds interesting. I'm hesitant though. Archer's Voice, I have had on my TBR literally for so long. I know this is, again, it's like a small town, like sad book. All I know about it and that all I've heard about it is that it's very sad and it's a tearjerker, and I'm nervous, but I need to get to it. Somebody tell me to read this. We have another Morgan Elizabeth book. This is All My Love. It's got a fun little cover, and I know that this is about a musician in some way. Okay, this is a dark romance called Still Beating. I forget exactly what it's about, but I think it's about a girl and her sister's fiance who get kidnapped together, and it's like a really spicy, like dark romance. People have said it's actually excellent, but I'm not a big dark romance girly, so I feel like I'll try it, but I'm not 100% sure about it. The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. This is the first book in the Dreamland Billionaire series, and it's basically about this billionaire who owns a theme park. It's like he's part of the Disney family basically. And then it's about him and a girl who works for him who's like really against him. It's like an enemies to lovers situation. I've tried reading this so many times. I've never actually ended up picking it up. So hopefully I will get to it soon, especially because I live so close to Disneyland. Like I need to read this and then go to Disney. What the heck? To Have and To Heist, I got this in the mail from the publisher, I believe, and I've never heard anyone talk about it. It sounds really cute. I believe it's basically about these friends who are trying to steal back a necklace that their friend got accused of stealing. It's like a full-on like heist. Ocean's 11, is that a heist movie? I don't know, I don't watch movies, but this one sounds really cute and fun. I have never heard anyone talk about it though. Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reed. I thrifted this, I've seen it a lot at the thrift store, and I know this was really popular for a while. It's basically about this black woman who nannies for a white mom, and she goes to the grocery store and gets accused of like stealing her child because it's like a black nanny with a white kid. And so I think it has a lot to do with race and like the way that she has to kind of deal with stuff like that. Again, I don't really know a ton about it, but I know that I've seen people talk about this. I've just never digested the information. So I need to look it up and I need to get to it because this was a very popular one. Again, it's got the Reese's Book Club sticker, so I feel like it has to be good in some way. A Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston. I have a love-hate relationship with her because I absolutely loved 7 Year Slip, but I hated The Dead Romantics. I thought that book was so awful, but 7 Year Slip was really cute. I don't know what this is about. We're 50-50, so this might be the tiebreaker of whether or not I like her and her writing. This is an advanced reader copy of Variation by Rebecca Yarros. It is out by now, though it came out end of last year. I love the Fourth Wing series, but I actually didn't love one of her other books. I think it's called like Things We Leave Unsent or Things We Hide from the Things We Never See, one of those that they're all titled the same thing. And that was more of like a historical fiction. So I don't know that I love her normal romances versus her fantasy, but I don't know what this one's about. I haven't heard a ton about it. I like the cover a lot. It's very pretty. So if you've read this, please let me know in the comments. Forget Me Not by Julie Soto. All I know about this book is that it deals some way with weddings. I think it's about a wedding florist, and I'm wedding planning, if you didn't know. I'm a 2026 bride, so I might need to read this soon. And then last but not least on this section of the shelf, I have another Elsie Silver book that's part of this Gold Rush Ranch series, and then all of her Chestnut Spring series, as well as a Lila Sage Done and Dusted trio. I think there's actually 4 books in this, but I only have 3. I've only read these 2 books, but I definitely want to get to the rest. I'm very much in my cowboy girl era right now. I've been line dancing a lot recently, so I'm trying to read all of the cowboy romances hopefully soon. Okay, this shelf I personally find less interesting, so we're just gonna go through it quickly. First of all, I have this really cute book nook from a brand called Row Life. They have them on Amazon, they have them on TikTok Shop, highly recommend. I feel like out of all the book nooks that I've ever tried to build, these are the easiest and they turn out really pretty. I have Paris Hilton's memoir. I've been really wanting to get to this. This one is from the founder of Zinc Talent. It's kind of niche, but she's an influencer agency. She's like a creator who started an influencer agency. This is her book about that. This one is The Boys of Riverside. It was one of the best Amazon books, like best rated Amazon books of 2024. It's about a school in Riverside, which is like not far from where I live. It's a school for deaf boys and it's about their football team and going on to win like some type of championship. It sounds amazing. It's a nonfiction again. Tidy Up Your Life, a book about cleaning, which I very much need. Furiously Happy by Jenny Lawson. This one is about like mental health. It's like a comedic take on mental health. Wild by Cheryl Strayed. This is about walking the Pacific Coast Trail. Sounds very interesting. I know they made a movie out of this one. Daisy Jones and the Six. I'm sure you guys all know about this. White Mulberry. I don't know what that's about, so sorry about that. Where the Crawdads Sing. I feel like I've been wanting to read this book forever. I know it was really popular for a while and it's about a girl who lives in like the swampy marshland of the South. They obviously made a movie about it. Taylor Swift wrote a song called Carolina for the movie, so I need to get to that eventually. Another Taylor Jenkins read, One True Loves. This is about a girl who loses her fiance in a plane crash and then gets married to a different guy, but then the fiance comes back later. I think, don't quote me on that. It sounds really good. Then again, don't know what it's about. Everything I Know About Love. This is like a memoir collection of stories by Dolly Alderton. The Pumpkin Spice Cafe, a cute little fall book that I've been dying to read. Enchantment, I think this is a mental health book. Lunar Love, I forget what it's about. I think it's about a dating app based on the Chinese zodiac, something along those lines. The Connollys of County Down, I don't know what it's about. The Manicurist's Daughter, I don't know what it's about. And last up, The Ministry of Time. I will show you this one because it's been on my TBR forever. This is like a time traveling romance. It sounds very excellent. I'm very excited about it. Okay, here we have the second section of TBR. It's mostly like thriller and fantasy, but kind of a mix of things. This is The Five People You Meet in Heaven. I don't know what it's about, but this is Mariana's favorite book of all time. It's teeny tiny, so I really need to get into it, but it sounds like it's very profound. I think it's kind of similar to The Alchemist in that way. Lessons in Chemistry, obviously this one is a very, very popular one. It was turned into a show or movie, and it's about a woman in STEM back in like the 60s. I think she was like a chemist or a researcher or something. And obviously all of the sexism that she experienced as a woman being in STEM literally at any time, but especially in the 60s. Agatha Christie, Sparkling Cyanide. I actually have another Agatha Christie book here. This one is Halloween Party. I've never read like a true mystery book to my knowledge, and Agatha Christie is like the OG queen of this. I need to get to one of these. I think this is like a Halloween based one, obviously, and then this is like a dinner party murder mystery. Such a Bad Influence, I'm not entirely sure what this is about, except for that it's like a thriller involving influencers, which is really funny. It's some type of influencer child social media star scandal, which sometimes cringes me out. As an influencer, I struggle to read about influencers in books because I feel like it's always so like cringy. The Darkness Rises, I don't know what it's about. I'm sorry. This is one of the cutest covers that I've ever seen. This is Deadly Occupants by Mads Rafferty. She wrote the Heir of Broken Fate fantasy book. She's really active on TikTok. I'm sure you've probably seen her before. Look at how cute this is. This one is like a haunted house thriller mystery situation. It's so cute. Wrong Place, Wrong Time is a thriller where this lady sees her son commit a crime and then she gets flashed back to before the crime happened. So I think she has to try and prevent it from happening. Legends and Lattes. This is the cringiest book cover that I own. It gives me the full body chills because I hate it so much, but I've heard it's a really cute little like fall cozy fantasy, and I love fall, so I think I'm gonna eventually have to just get over it and read this. Trial of the Sun Queen. I do think I have the second one of this as well. It's a fantasy series. I'm not entirely sure what it's about. That's all I got for you. The Last Thing He Told Me, I don't know what this is about except for that it's a thriller of a missing person. Oh gosh, this is a big one. Look at that. This is The Priory of the Orange Tree. It is obviously a fantasy novel. Nothing else would be this big, probably. I think it involves dragons. I think it involves lesbians. I don't know anything about this book. People really love it, but I am just so intimidated by the size. I bought this secondhand, so it's all creased and beautifully read. I really don't know if I'm ever gonna get to it just because it's so big. I'm like out of my fantasy era right now. Ooh, this one is Dawn by Octavia Butler. I think she's one of the first Black female authors to write in the sci-fi category. And this one has something to do with humans. Like Earth is uninhabitable, and so aliens come and take humans and then they have to bring them back to Earth when it's ready to go again. Don't quote me. I think that's what this is about. I love the cover. I think that it sounds really interesting, and I really want to read something from her because she's like one of the greats and one of the people who like really pioneered women and Black women specifically in this genre. This Woven Kingdom by Tahira Mafi. This is the same author who wrote the Shatter Me series, which we're going to get to in a second. It is another fantasy novel. I don't know anything about it, besides that is the same author. Mistress of Rome by Kate Quinn. I know this is a historical fiction romance novel about obviously like ancient Rome. I recently finished reading The Song of Achilles, which is obviously Greek mythology based. I loved it. So this is, I think, a little bit of a different vibe. This is more romance based, but I'm kind of in the mood for like ancient history, so I feel like I need to pick this up soon. A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon. Again, another like Halloween fall type book. This is a witch who accidentally was trying to make bread and then accidentally made a demon. Sounds like a very, excuse me, I have a hair on my face. Sounds like a very questionable premise. But sometimes I feel like Halloween-y type books don't translate very well. This one I'm a little worried about. You never know. Okay, Death Valley I also have on like my summer TBR just because it sounds so weird. I found this in a little free library and I loved the cover. It's about a girl who is really stressed because her fiance and dad, I think, are in the ICU or they're like really sick. So she leaves and goes on a solo trip out to the desert. And then while she's on a walk, she finds this cactus with a door in it and like goes through this magical cactus and then has a spiritual awakening. Sounds super freaking weird. It's very small and easy to get through, hopefully, but it sounds interesting. And I'm trying to branch out. I read a lot of like the same type of shit over and over. I'm trying to give, you know, something new. But a good cover will always get me. I think this is so cool. The Naturalist Society, I don't know what this is about, but the cover is fun. This is the second book of the other one that I just talked about. And then last is Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. This is like the king of fantasy. If you guys haven't heard of Brandon Sanderson, he's like well known as one of the best fantasy writers out there. I was told that this book is a good intro into his books if you're not typically like a high fantasy reader. Although I have heard this is quite different from his books. I know Mistborn is another really big popular one that people say to get into, but this one is about a green sea that is toxic and it's like a cozy exploration type fantasy. Again, beautiful cover, couldn't resist, kind of nervous to try it out, kind of interested, so we'll see. Okay, shelf number 2, we have The Princess Bride. One of my amazing followers sent this to me. It was so sweet of her. Obviously, The Princess Bride is like a really, really popular movie, but I've never thought about reading the book, and she said it's one of her favorite books. Okay, these two books I thrifted very early on into my reading journey. They're two thrillers called, one is Greenwich Park and one is All the Missing Girls. I know this one is like a babysitter nanny type thriller. This one, I don't know entirely. I think that girls go missing at the fair, which obviously I just made up because of the title and the front of the book. But these ones I've had on my shelf forever. I've never had the desire to reach for them. So if you've read either of these, let me know if they're good. Okay, One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. This has been on my TBR forever. I'm so excited to read it. It's a fantasy duology. So it's One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns. This is a fantasy about a girl who has this like monster living in her head called Nightmare. And I think it's loosely based on tarot cards, which is really fun. I actually have some tarot cards on my bookshelf down at the bottom, but I've heard this is so excellent. She's One of Us by Ariel Chapman. This is actually one of my internet friends who wrote this book and sent it to me. I've heard it's very excellent. I haven't gotten to it yet, but again, it's like a murder mystery dinner party situation. No, it's not a dinner party. It's a girl who's going to figure out a murder in this like big abandoned house. Sounds really good. Indie author, go support her. Obsessed. This one is I Only Read Murder. I'm not entirely sure what it's about. I'm sorry. Very cute. ARC copy. Fun. The Perfect Couple by Ellen Hildebrand. This is also on my summer TBR. It's a murder mystery set in Nantucket. Pretty much all of her books I think are set like in Nantucket, Cape Cod situation. Ellen Hildebrand is like a very popular summer author, but this one is about a wedding, like a very posh wedding that's happening there, and a body washes up on the beach, and so everyone instantly becomes a suspect. I have never read Ellen Hildebrand. I've really wanted to. I've heard people either really love her or really hate her, so I'm very excited to get to this. Two more books that I've thrifted that are thrillers. The Woman in Cabin 10, this is a cruise ship thriller. I think someone like falls overboard, and so everybody's a suspect, of course. Then The Girl on the Train. This one, I know it's been really popular. I'm gonna probably butcher the description, but it's about a girl who takes a train to work every day, and she like sees some sketchy stuff happening in the same house that she passes every time. That actually sounds really good. I need to pick this up. I've convinced myself to read this. Fall of Ruin and Wrath by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This I got in a blind date with a book box, and when I opened it on TikTok, everybody raved about this book. I think it's like a really spicy fantasy. I'm not entirely sure. I've heard the author is really beloved. I think that it's just like a spicy dark fantasy. I'm not entirely sure. After Image, I wish I could tell you what this is about, but I don't know. Heir of Broken Souls. This is a sequel to Heir of Broken Fate, which I don't actually have. I think this might actually be the third one. But this is the same author, Mads Rafferty, that I told you about, Deadly Occupants. She seems really sweet and wonderful on TikTok, so I need to read one of her books. A Winter's Promise. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous fantasy book. I'm obsessed with the cover. All I remember is that when I bought this, the bookseller description, it was like in the recommended section, it said that if you like Studio Ghibli, you will like this. So I think it's like a cozy fantasy Studio Ghibli inspired, which who doesn't love? I mean, come on. A Tribute of Fire. I don't know what it's about. I think it's a fantasy book. Girls of Paper and Fire. I also got this in a blind date with a book box. I believe it is an LGBTQ lesbian fantasy book. Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. I don't know anything about this except for that Lisa Jewell is a very good thriller author. Okay, this one kind of is cheating to have on my TBR side because I DNF'd this book. It's Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. I read the first like half of it probably. It's about a couple who is really kind of on the outs. They're going through it with their marriage and probably gonna get divorced, and they go to this really creepy, remote little cabin out in the woods during the dead of winter, and all these weird things keep happening. I just hated the way that it was written. I probably need to unhaul this book, honestly. Maybe I would eventually get around to it because I heard that it gets better, but it was not for me. Not for me. Local Woman Missing. I have been wanting to read this for so long. It's about a mother and daughter who go missing, and then 11 years later the daughter returns, and so they're trying to like reopen the case and figure out what went on. Sounds very good. Hopefully better than Rock, Paper, Scissors, although it is a different author. This is Mary Kubica. Wait a darn second. Heir of Broken Kingdom, Heir of Broken Souls. This is book 2 and 3, I think. I know that I for sure don't have the first one, so I think this is book 2 and 3. Okay, last but not least on this shelf is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This is funny because I posted, I don't know if you guys watch Brittany Broski and the Broski Report, which I love. She did a whole thing about this and how there's a part in this, it's a fantasy novel, where they leave the Fae realm and go to the human world, and they go to a mall and the girl is wearing sparkly Converse. She had this whole funny thing about it. I posted a TikTok with the audio of her like bashing on it, and people were like, it was very split in the comments, whether it was like, no, it works in the context or whatever, and then some people are like, no, this book is so stupid. I'm like very hesitant now to read it because that sounds like my nightmare. Sparkly Converse. I don't know about this one. I'm hesitant. Okay, we're gonna do this lower shelf and then I'm gonna take a break, eat lunch, and come back and we'll do the other one. This is Phantasma by Kaylee Smith. I think it's sort of similar to Caraval, which I also have right here. This is like the YA version of it, is from what I've heard. Caraval is about a like circusy thing, like a trials situation that happens every year, and a girl's sister gets stolen, and so she has to go participate and like help get her back. This one I think is like the darker version of that, where a bunch of people are in a house and they have to like compete and do all these scary things to survive. Both fantasy novels. The Empress, I don't know anything about this except for that it's a fantasy novel, again, based on tarot cards. I love the cover. It's very tarot reminiscent. The Empress is a card in the tarot deck, so that sounds very good. Ooh, When the Moon Hatched. This is high on my TBR, but again, it's a big, big girl. Big, big girl. I don't know what it's about except for that it's literally beautiful. Here's the cover. I think that it's a whimsical winter fantasy, but like dark and twisty, but also like beautiful. So the Zodiac Academy is a huge series. I believe that there's 12 in this series, and then there's a bunch of spin-off series. This is like a college smutty romantasy. This sounds right up my alley, but I've heard the writing is quite terrible. But people really ride or die for this series, so I'm definitely gonna be picking it up soon. Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I love the cover of this as well. This is basically about like secret society cults in a college. Dune, respectfully, I will never read this. This is Ricky's book, so that's why it's on here. And then last section here, I have Lightlark and Nightbane. I read Lightlark by Alex Astor. It's a fantasy series as well. I didn't love it, so I probably won't continue that series. And then I have the entire Shatter Me series, which I have yet to read. A lot of people really want me to read this. I'm eventually gonna get to it. I just don't know when. I'm gonna go eat lunch. You stay right there and we will continue this. Thank you so much. Maybe go grab a snack. This is a long video, but thank you for being here. All right, ladies, I am well fed and hydrated and ready to jump back into the tour. There's not much on the upper shelf over here. I have a Vogue poster, this really cute little like brochure thing from Cezanne. It's a clothing brand, but they made this like little Paris brochure. Let me show it to you. It shows a bunch of like different neighborhoods in Paris and little guides that they have for those. How cute is that? I love Cezanne. That's a great brand. And then lastly, this painting of me and Mariana from our birthday circa 2021 in New York. Okay, let's jump into the books. In order to not make this video 5 hours long, I'm just gonna give you the highlights, okay? That might be hard though, because all of these are highlights in my heart. The Women by Kristen Hanna. If you have not read a Kristen Hanna book, probably a good idea because they're very, very heart-wrenching. This one is about the combat nurses in the Vietnam War, specifically in the army. It is so good. So heartbreaking, very complex. It deals a lot with like addiction, PTSD, loss, female friendships are a big theme in this. If you're squeamish in any way, it does deal a lot with like hands-on surgeries and post-war like injuries and things like that. So definitely be cautious. Such a good book. I liked this better than The Nightingale, and that is like her most beloved one. So this one's definitely a must read. Listen for the Lie is another really good one. This is a thriller. It's like a murder mystery podcast thriller. I would suggest doing the audiobook of this. Ooh, another really good thriller is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. This is kind of like a multiverse type thriller. It's really trippy, really interesting. It kind of deals with like string theory. Like there's multiple versions of you in like multiple different universes. It's really scary. It's really interesting. It's not like scary, but it's just trippy. Like it's a mind trip. Very good. Sci-fi vibes. Summer of Broken Rules. I love this book so much. It's a really cute, like kind of YA. I think it's YA. It's like closed door spice. Romance set in Martha's Vineyard. It's about a girl who recently lost her sister and she's going to like her family reunion kind of place that she always goes, but it's for a wedding this time. And she kind of ends up falling for one of the cute groomsmen. The entire family plays this really big game of, it's kind of like an assassin game with squirt guns and water guns. And like the whole book is built around this game. It's really cute. It's the perfect summer read. Highly recommend. I mentioned this one a little bit earlier. This is Red, White, and Royal Blue. Again, it is a men love men, so a gay romance, and it's about the son of the president falling for like a UK prince, and it's literally so good. The love story is unreal. It was turned into a movie, but the movie is not as good as the book. Highly recommend. Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. One of my favorite romance books probably that I've ever read. It's like a friends to lovers to enemies to friends to lovers trope. It's so good. Half of the book is between this girl and guy when they were in like high school age, and it's very quintessential teenage romance, like being nervous around each other, all of those butterflies, and then they kind of had a falling out and then they reconnect as adults. So good. It's also set like in and around San Francisco, and I'm from Northern California, so I just love it. It like talks about Marin County and I love it. Oh my god, so good. The Deal by Elle Kennedy is one that I read pretty recently and loved. It's a college hockey romance. Has actually some more serious themes, so you might want to look up trigger warnings, but overall it's just like a fun, spicy, good time. If you're looking for an excellent Christmas book that will make you absolutely sob your eyes out, Always in December. If you listen at all to our podcast, you know that I DNF'd the puppy war, unfortunately. I mentioned 7 Year Slip earlier. This one's really good. One of my favorite books, Ice Planet Barbarians. This is quite literally alien smut. But don't knock it till you try it. It's really good. It's super short, fun read, really stupid. But if you read it as satire, it's hilarious, addicting, and so good. I try and get everyone to read this. I literally loved it. Wayward is really good. This is very female rage coded. It's about 3 generations of witches. One is like back in Salem witch trials era. One is in like the 1940s, I think, and then one is present day. Very complex, very good. Loved this one. Tom Lake is a really fun one. This one I would also suggest as an audiobook because it was narrated by Meryl Streep, who is an absolute icon. This one is a little bit more slow, dry, kind of hard to get into. It's more women's fiction. It's like not really romancy. It's about a mom who lives in Michigan on a cherry farm, and she's kind of taking her daughters through her life story. She used to be an actress when she was younger. She met this guy who like turns out to become famous, and he's larger than life, and she's had like all this, not trauma from him, but just like these different memories and all these things. It's really good. I really liked it. Last on the top here, and one of my favorites, is House in the Cerulean Sea. I've talked about this at length on the podcast as well. It's basically a cozy fantasy book about this guy who works for a company that is in charge of magical youth, and he gets assigned to this orphanage of like problematic magical children. So there's like the son of Satan, there's a garden gnome, there's a wyvern, there's a shapeshifter, there's a green blob. It's like all these really quirky, unique characters. I listened to this as an audiobook and it was so good. It's just a perfect like cozy, slow, found family, character building, good time. It's very cute. Below this, I have all of my ACOTAR books, my favorite series ever. I don't care if that's basic, I love it. I also have my TBR jar, which, confession, I haven't actually used this since I filmed the video about it. If you want to see a video of me doing like all the prompts and everything for this, I have an entire video about making my TBR jar, which I will link for you in the below section as well.
And then I have this cute little bunny.
On this side, I have all of my Abby Jimenez books, which I have read every single one. The only Abby book I don't have up here is Say You'll Remember Me, which is her newest release. I really didn't love it. I think I will get it for my collection when it comes out in paperback, but I gave that one a 3-star as compared to all of these being 4. And then specifically Yours Truly being a 5. If you are gonna read these, I would suggest doing them in this order, which I'll just name them for you. Part of Your World, Yours Truly, Just for the Summer. That's one little standalone, interconnected standalone series. Definitely read those in order. And then The Friend Zone, Happily Ever After playlist, and Life's Too Short. These I would also read in order as well. I have a little capybara stuffed animal. And then I have some of my Taylor Swift merch, the Taylor Eras Tour book, again, Eras Tour stuff. And then in this cup, I have a lot of really cool bookmarks. This one is really funny. It's Jesus, and it says, "Is that smut?" So, love that. And then the shelf below that, I have Fourth Wing, Iron Flame, and Onyx Storm. Just excellent. I don't even need to go over this with you. Highly recommend. Okay, I decided to just kneel on the ground so I don't break my frickin' back. I slept on my back weird the other night, and I think I like pinched a nerve or something. It's feeling a lot better today, thank God. But I was really having back pain. I'm 30, so this is what happens. Okay, here I have another book nook, really cute, and then I have all of Throne of Glass. I have read all of those books. I didn't like it as much as ACOTAR. I know that's a really controversial opinion, but still excellent, still worth reading for sure. And then on this side, we have more books that I have read already. These are kind of more like fantasy. Well, actually, no. They're mixed in. So let's go through them. 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. Absolutely excellent. This is really good if you're looking for a romance that is kind of spicy, but it's more adulty. It's like based on actual adults. The main character, who's a mom, has a kid, and it deals with a lot of heavy topics. Both of the main characters in this book are Black authors, so they talk a lot about race, like in the industry. And they were friends when they were in high school. They both had kind of a rough upbringing, so it talks a lot about poverty, drug use, addiction, things like that. They had a falling out, and then throughout their careers, they've been writing each other into their respective stories, which is like so, this book is so romantic and cute. I loved it. Definitely recommend. Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow is a very interesting one. This was a really hard read for me to get through just because it's written so uniquely. It's really beautiful and really different, and I am glad that I read it, but it took me a while to get through. This is basically like childhood all the way up through adulthood of 2 friends who create video games together, and it just goes through their life. It's not entirely a romance. It's kind of like a platonic romance situation. Very good, but don't go into it thinking this will be an easy read, because for me at least it was not. The Unhoneymooners is another Christina Lauren book. I loved this one. It's a fake dating romance set in Hawaii, so it's a perfect summer read. The Song of Achilles, I cannot express enough how much I think you should read this. It was slow at times, but overall it was amazing. It's very heart-wrenching. It's very good. Again, this is based on Greek mythology. It's LGBTQ+. It's so good. Patroclus is my Shayla. Controversial take, I didn't like The Housemaid. The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. Obviously, you guys have probably heard of this one before. It's very sad, it's very good. It is based on World War II in France and the Nazi occupation in France. It's about 2 sisters, and again, this one was really slow for me at times, but the ending, I was inconsolably sobbing. So it's very good. The Midnight Library was excellent. This is a very thought-provoking book. I think this might be a little bit triggering if you're in a certain frame of mind. I would probably look up trigger warnings for this, but it's very introspective. It's kind of about the idea of like, what if you could do different parts of your life over? And like, what would have happened if you made a different decision? Like, instead of going to college, if you went and became, you know, followed your dream of becoming a singer. It's like that kind of vibe. It's very good. Also controversial, I didn't love Quicksilver. Ooh, okay, Butcher and Blackbird. This actually was very good. It's really spicy. It's about 2 serial people who go after other serial people. I don't know if I'm allowed to say those words on YouTube. Really fun, really spicy, good for like fall Halloween time. But if you're squeamish, do not read this. It gets pretty disgusting at some parts. Say You Swear by Megan Brandy is literally so good. I have to preface this if you decide to read it. I think that the writing is like honestly pretty bad. It's weird because it gets better as the book goes on. I remember the first couple of chapters, I was like, this sucks so bad. Granted, I read this very early on in my reading career. I don't know how I would like it if I read it today. It's pretty long, but it's a college football romance and I loved it. I would honestly reread this. I've been kind of thinking about it a lot recently. It's very good. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder I also read pretty early on in my reading journey, so I don't remember too much of what it's about, but this is more of a YA murder mystery thriller. So if you're younger, I think this would be a really good option for you. It's a girl who is doing her high school project trying to solve the town's like murder case, and she ends up actually solving it. It's really exciting, and I did not see the plot twist coming. Britney Spears memoir, very good. And yeah, I think that's all I want to talk about on this side. As you can see, it's kind of, I just pulled Quicksilver out because it was so stuffed full, so I really do need to rearrange this whole bookshelf. But I do have more shelves to show you down at the bottom. These are a bit random, but let's go through them. Okay, we're still on the side of the shelves where I have read the books. This side is my ACOTAR special edition. It's really pretty. Here's what the front looks like. There's the map. And then even the inside has pretty drawings. And then I also have the Nightingale special edition, and it's signed by Kristen Hanna. This is so cool. They sent this to me and I was like ecstatic about it. So beautiful with sprayed edges and everything. And then down at the very bottom here is a lot of really random old books, mostly belonging to Ricky, like a lot of his high school books and stuff, but I have some in here as well. These are just ones that we don't really reach for, that don't kind of fit in with the vibes, but we didn't want to get rid of them, so they live at the bottom of my shelf now. And then on this side, I have all of my Emily Henry books. The only ones that I've read out of these are Happy Place and Funny Story. I loved Funny Story. You guys have to read it. It's like a small town romance set in Michigan. So idyllic and so cute. Happy Place was fine. It wasn't my favorite, but if you're going on like a summer trip with friends, I think it might be a good read. I do not know which Emily Henry though to read next, so comment and let me know. Also, sorry, I can tell that this is really crooked. And then here I have this absolutely gorgeous box set of the Harry Potter books. I read these when I was a kid and I was so obsessed. I would go to like the midnight release parties with my dad, and I was just a big Potterhead. I want to read these again as an adult. I think that they still will hold up, but I just haven't gotten around to it. So that's on the TBR for sure. Okay, and then we are back on that original side that we went over with all my TBR stuff. This is the Chloe Walsh Binding 13 / Boys of Tommen series. I have read the first two. I'm currently reading Saving 6, and so I need to finish those out. This right here is a gorgeous Taylor Swift Matchbox print. Let me pull it out for you. Here's what it looks like. My friend Jordan has a company called The Match Concept, and she sells these on Etsy, and she can customize them for you too. They're really, really pretty. Highly recommend. And she sells these on Etsy, and she can customize them for you too. Like Speak Now is one of my favorite albums. Love her. I'm a rep girly. I've had this for a while, so I could get it updated, but I love it. And then I've got my friendship bracelets in here. I've got my Cowboy Carter bracelet, my Taylor Swift prayer candle, and then birthday card. On this side, I have another birthday card with Harry Styles, and then my Crescent City books. I've only read the first two. Still nervous about getting to the last one, but obviously I'm gonna have to read it before we get to ACOTAR 6. And she just showed us that she's at least working on it and done with the first draft, so that's gonna have to be on my TBR for the end of the year. And last but not least, on the bottom, this absolute chaotic mess of books is for my wedding. Ricky and I are getting married in June of next year, and we have plans to do kind of like a little free library at our wedding. I've talked about this on my book talk account if you want to go to Books with Nikki on TikTok. But essentially, I've been thrifting and collecting a lot of books that we can kind of give out as favors at the wedding. We're gonna have like a little library and cute custom bags and bookmarks where people, like our guests, can go shop and take home a book or two. That was like one of the first projects we started working on after we got engaged, and I'm so excited about it. So maybe once that's all done, I'll do an entire video going through which books we'll be giving away at the library. But yeah, that's like such a fun project. This is what all of this is for. Okay guys, that is the entire bookshelf. I hope you enjoyed this tour. I'm sorry in advance if this is a really long video. I feel like I was yapping for ages. I don't know why I decided to go through every book individually, but here we are. It has been such a joy to get into reading and to get to collect these books over time. I just love it. I love having this here for when people come over. They can borrow a book. I can give them away to friends. It's great. I hope you enjoyed it as well. If you have any ideas of how I should organize my bookshelf, please let me know. I kind of implemented this recently where TBR was on one side and like things I have read have been on the other side. I like seeing the physical separation, so it's easy for me to pick out, but it's starting to get kind of full. So I feel like I have to maybe mix it up again. I don't know. You let me know. Make sure to subscribe to me on YouTube and then follow me everywhere else. Follow the Last Page podcast. I'll have all of our info below, and I will see you in my next video. Mwah!